Hello?
Hello, this is Kimberly.
Yeah, hi.
Hi. I need to record this session, so I'm going to ask you to call this number and I'll take you directly into Spreaker, which means you'll be going live on the air. Is that okay?
Yeah, I was on the other line, and I guess I was holding.
Yeah.
You want?
Cut off that line and I'll give you the phone number to call into Spreaker and we will go live. And then if people want to call in, I can also give them the number.
Okay.
Okay, and if it doesn't go off well, I'll do another interview with you, okay? Because the lines have not been behaving. The weather here has been very nasty with electrical storms and everything. So,
Okay.
okay, so the number is, oh my God, let's do it. Where is it? Here it
And
is.
this is a half hour show.
This is a half-hour show. Yes, 484
484
258
258.
1876.
Okay, great.
And that way we can get things out more in advance so that
Okay.
you could have people actually calling in and asking you questions.
Okay, that's great. Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye-bye. Passionate World Talk Radio.
Hi.
Hi, is this Kimberly Meredith?
Yes.
Welcome to Passionate World Talk Radio, Educate, Enlighten, Entertain. And Kimberly has written a book called Coronus Virus, the top 21 tips for protection. So how are you today, Meredith? Kimberly.
Fine.
Good. I'm glad to hear it. Could you please give a little bit background of who you are so that people know?
Say it again, please.
Could you please just provide a little background? You're an intuitive healer. You've been compared to Edward Casey for being a healer, and I would like the audience to have a little more background on you so they'll be able to identify with you better.
Wait, hold on 1 minute. I can't hear you very well.
Oh, you can't hear me. That's the problem. Okay, can you hear me any better?
Let me call you right back.
All right. Thank you all very much for your patience. We are having Passionate World Talk Radio. Hello? Passionate World Talk Radio, Cool Your Heels with Lillian. Good afternoon, Kimberly. How are you?
Fine. Hi. I can hear you better now. I'm so sorry.
That's okay. I have a funny feeling we will probably do this interview all over again since we seem to be having a lot of problems.
Okay, yeah, I can hear you know that. I can hear you a lot better.
You can hear me a lot better. Well, that's good. Let's try it again. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Passionate World Talk Radio. Educate, enlighten, entertain. And today on Cool Your Heels with Lillian, our special guest is Kimberly Meredith, who wrote a book about the coronavirus and the top 21 tips to protect yourself. But Kimberly is just not an ordinary person. Kimberly is endowed with a lot of gifts that I will have her tell you about them so you understand why she wrote the book in the first place. So, Kimberly, please tell people what your background is.
Well, my background is I'm a medical intuitive, and I had a near-death experience just a few years ago. And in that, I received my gifts. They were reawakened through my eyes and my hands. And I call in the Holy Divine energy through that. And I've been tested at various institutes for my gifts. And
so when you wrote this book and you provide these top 21 tips, what are some of the things that you're advising people to do to protect themselves from this deadly virus?
Well, the most important thing I feel is our immune system is, the book is on my website for free, thehealingtrilogy.com. It's also on Amazon. And inside the book, my main thing is through my practice, I find through my scanning process is that people's immune systems are super low. It was low before the coronavirus hit. And so because our immune system is low, my scanning, I go through people's bodies, I find it's a lot of lymph nodes, our teeth, our thyroid, our gut. It's because we're drinking water, so part of our system is not being processed correctly because we're taking in too much plastic. So in the book, I go into details of that. We need to get rid of fossil fuel in our body and go into putting filters on our sinks and in our showers and not breathing in steam that's got fluoride and MRSA. And so it's very important to boost our immune system right now, even if we didn't have COVID-19. And if you do have COVID-19, it's not a death sentence because you can boost the immune system. And I do talk about in detail that going more towards drinking out of glass and getting a water that does come from, just stay away from tap water. Even washing your vegetables off in tap water is a bad thing to do. Also in the book, I talk about your cortisol levels, keeping, yourself, staying away from watching too much television, going into meditation. Boosting your immune system is important through laughter. And knowing that not only in this time there's a great sense of worry and fear, which is understandable, is that you need to understand that you can cause yourself a great sense of depression with worry and fear. And though we do need to be careful and understanding that we are in a great sense of revelation, we are in a great sense of understanding we're moving into an amazing paradigm. So we need to boost our sense of spirituality. So in the book, I have meditation. Actually, in the Audible, I do a prayer called the Fifth Dimensional Awakening, an Ascension prayer. So I do talk about how it's important to do at least 5 minutes of meditation.
So when these people are meditating, is there a proper way that they can practice meditation, or is it something that they can just sit there and try to cut off the outside world and try to center themselves?
Yeah, I like that. I feel that a lot of people feel when they hear meditation, oh gosh, I have to go into this long hours of meditation. But it's in my practice, I teach people that it's really, I very much tap into with my guides. I love Einstein. I love Edgar Cayce. I love the frequency of that we're in dimension. So we're living in a third dimension right now. It's very cool to get into the fifth dimension. And in that fifth dimensional state of consciousness, you don't need more than 5 minutes of meditation. And it could be always, I love divinely, and I talk about it, putting music on. Because music takes you instantly into another dimension. I don't know if you believe in that, but like the Beatles, or it could be chanting, it could be anything that takes you into this beautiful mind state. So putting music frequency and going into the meditational state puts you in a higher frequency and can make your body heal faster, your mind heal, and take you into the God frequency. And so just 5 minutes a day, and that's super cool, and raises your body, raises the whole world's vibration.
So there's a meditation maze. I don't know if you're familiar with them or not, but in Pennsylvania, there's several churches that have meditation mazes, and they have lined them up with pebbles and those bark shakes that you use for protecting trees from insects and things. And I go over there once a week, and I walk. It's a big maze, and I go and I walk it, and I find that if you center yourself so that you're aligning with the route or the path, I guess is probably the best way, and you faithfully follow the circular of the meditation circle, it really does draw you into a central place within yourself. And I do it. It takes me about 20 minutes, folks. But for somebody like me who has trouble most of the time shutting down my mind for various and sundry reasons, and if you're mom, you'll understand that. And if you have toddlers running around, you'll understand that. And if you're a caregiver, you'll understand that. Have all these tendrils stretching in all different directions that your inner ear has to keep track of and to be on high alert just in case something happens. But when I'm walking that particular maze, all of that seems to melt or fade into the background. It's very interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing. I mean, last is so important, and this time, anything like that. So that's what I do for people. I help people go into a fifth dimensional state of consciousness. And I do these events on my website. I have healing groups. I do Mother Mary Medley. I like people to understand that we can go into the feminine divine energy, that the feminine love of the grace of Mary, Mother Mary. I don't know if you know that energy is here for us right now. It's a calming energy. We have a lot of masculine energy in the world at the moment, and that since my near-death experience, and I've been gifted these abilities, I find that through my mediumship and my healing, I can help people get more grounded. I do of course, medical mediumship on people, and I help with that, finding things in their body and connecting things and why they've happened. But I'm also been gifted to help people ground themselves more, and like you said, help them get into the meditational state and understanding that they don't have to stay injured or emotionally wounded or stay in the sickness. We can move into a higher dimensional frequency right now.
Now, when you're doing your healing, do you need to have the person with you in the same room, or I have a friend who practices Reiki on me from England, for example, and I'm not quite sure how she goes about it. I really don't ask, to be perfectly frank, but she does send me her prayers and she does send me the white light, and it does help. So do you do similar things, or does the person need to be in the same room with you when you're channeling this energy?
No, I just do 2 days. Thank you. I just do 2 days a week in my office in Encino, California, and the rest of the days of the week I am doing virtual Skypes around the country. I can virtually do the meeting over the Skype and Zoom, and do my reading throughout the entire body. My guides will come in and tell you, a reading of what is happening to your body, what is going on with your body, and then I also do a virtual healing on your body with my guides. They're very strong. I work with Jesus Christ consciousness, and I work with the Mary, Healing Mary, and I also do a nutritional supplement plan. You cater to your needs. I send a PDF straight to you from my office. And then also, I do webinars on my healingtrilogyevents.com is my event calendar, and there's all these cool webinars that I do, and most of them are donation-based. And I also have really cool speakers that come on and join me on a lot of them. So very aggressive, beautiful ministry, and it's a ministry of love. We're non-denominational, and we do a lot of cool things.
Now, for people who are skeptics, and you always find them running around the place, how do you explain to them why you were gifted when you almost died, whereas before you were not perceived as I guess for better words, a vessel upon which they pour their gifts?
Well,
I understand what you went through, but a lot of other people may have their doubts.
Yeah. Well, basically, I was born blinking my eyes. I did have gifts as a child. If that's what you're saying, it wasn't like they just happened after my near-death experience. I did have gifts as a kid. When I was a baby, I had experienced paranormal abilities. My book from St. Martin's Press is coming out in 2021 that tells my true story of everything. So I had a lot of gifts as a kid. I was born in a very tumultuous childhood. My mother did not want me to do what I was doing, and she stopped me from it as a young child. And I stopped my blinking. And then the rest of my life is kind of hiding if you were gay or hiding if you were who you really were. So I suppressed it. And I had deep depression my whole entire life of who I really was. And I went along and did other things. And now that I know who I am, now I feel really comfortable. I have no anxiety. I have no depression. I don't look normal, because if you saw me right now, you'd be like, I blink and I communicate in sign language. So I am not the average medium, as you would think. You know, I'm not like I don't turn it on and turn it off. I'm always channeling. So I am a very unique trance medium, as you would say.
Okay. I mean, I have a friend who went to Lourdes and she spoke to Mary, and she's had some angel visits, and I take it on face value.
Yeah.
I mean, I had a near-death experience, and I was thrown out of heaven, so what can I say? With the words, you're not ready yet. You haven't finished what I want you to do, so you can't argue with the boss. And I figure until I get it right, I'll probably be here for another couple hundred years, the way things are going. But that's how I look at it. And there are also a lot of skeptics who look at it and thank God they're mad. All of them are mad. But
to further answer your question about skeptics, I think that there's always going to be naysayers. There's always people that don't believe in God, you know, don't believe in heaven, don't believe in the love of the angels. And when I had my second NDE, I saw heaven, I saw hell. My dog stood by me in the street while I was bleeding, and thank God he didn't leave me. I would have been not here right now. I would have been run over by a car. So I truly believe that you have to have the experience in yourself, and I'm not here to be confirmed by a skeptic. I know who I am, and I know what I do, and I feel good about it. So it's just what it is.
Exactly. So, Kimberly, please tell everybody again where they can find your upcoming book and where they can find you on the World Wide Web so that they can get in touch with you and see what you're up to.
Cool. Yeah, so if you want to watch the videos of all the work I've done over the last few years all around the world and testimonials, it's my YouTube channel, Kimberly Meredith, who channels the Holy Spirit. There's tons of videos that are really fun and cool. And then my website's called thehealingtrilogy.com.
Terrific. Thank you very much. And also your other book by St. Martin's Press, that's coming out in 2021?
Yeah, that's Awakening the Fifth Dimensional Miracle. And that's going to be really neat because it's all studies about case studies that have happened of miraculous healings with people that have accepted the gifts of the Holy Spirit, and also teaching and bringing out the gifts in other people. And that's what I really am about. Is everybody's been gifted with healing and abilities, and I love that. I love helping people bring out their healing abilities, and that's really going to be a very cool book about miracles.
Now, you've also been compared to Edgar Cayce. In what respect?
Only because he would put himself to sleep and lay next to people and find a lot of, like, so many things of people. And I'm like, when I'm in my thing doing it, I'm sort of I'm not obnoxious, but I'm like a private detective. I like get into every little thing of your body. So I'm very much like that. And when I get into super trancy, I'm like so ridiculous. So like that's why they say you're like a female Edgar Cayce. But maybe I'm just like me. You know, I like to just be me. So sometimes, and I don't turn it off and go on, so I'm always kind of trancing. So that's why they'll say, oh, she's kind of like an Edgar Cayce because she trances like that. So some mediums are just a medium, and then some are like a medium, but I love everybody. So it's like, you know, I think I'm just me.
No, it sounds very interesting. Now, are you also able to predict the future or tell people that certain things are going to happen to them or certain things are going to happen to a country in general, or is that something else that you haven't yet developed?
I do all kinds of things. I mean, I can speak to I can talk to the other side. I can give information about certain things and numbers. I do sequence and codes and blinking. I'm developing, over just a few years that I've been doing stuff. So, like making predictions and coming up with numbers. I do a lot of codes and numbers and frequencies and things like that. So I sometimes do that. I'll blink this happened and that happened, and somebody will ask me something, and I'll say, yeah, that happened when you were 7, and that happened when you were 14, and that happened when that, and that's going to happen when that happened. And so, yeah, I will do sometimes predictions and things like that, and especially with illnesses and things. I'll say, you got cancer in that year, and they'll say, yeah, you're right, I was diagnosed in that year. Or maybe it happened in that year, it came on in that year, or something when that happened. And so, yeah, I do stuff like that, absolutely.
So are you going to start compiling cryptic poetry like Nostradamus and put it in a book?
Well, I already do read in Braille. Like, I read things that I know when things are true and they're not true. And I know, maybe I will someday.
When you have the time to do it and everything.
Yeah, I do have a couple more books in mind that I would like to write. Or channel. I channel the books.
So when you say you talk in numbers, or you do sign language, or you do some other things, could you explain that a little bit further? Because I think some people may have gotten lost when you were explaining, not so much with sign language, but maybe with the numbers.
Well, everything to me comes in blinking and code. So when they're communicating with me, they'll communicate a number or a code to me. So then I'll blink. Like when you're speaking to me right now, they're blinking a number or a code to me back. So when you ask me a question, they'll blink a sequence back to me.
Okay. So in other words, you use that to communicate what you're saying, and the other person who's on the other end of the conversation would be able to understand what you're saying to them.
Yeah, they're highly intellectual guys. And so they know more than I know. They are taking over. They're the highly intellectual guys. Like, say a person comes in and says to me, "Oh, I have got a cancer, and it started in this year, and it's in my liver," and they don't bring me any paperwork. And I wave my hand over a person's body, and I go, "No, you actually also have it in your left lung, you have it in your right lung, you have 4 of them in you have 4 tumors in your left lung," and they're blinking that number and that number and that number. My eyes are fast, and the wife is going, "She's absolutely correct." And they never give me the paperwork. The guy is telling me I have lymphatic cancer. So basically, my eyes will go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and they'll tell me exactly where it's at.
Now, these guys, are these angels that everybody knows their name type thing, or are they just specific to you?
I think it's a bit more complicated, yeah.
It's a little bit more complicated than that. Okay, I'm curious because I know some people speak a lot to St. Michael. And I know when I'm having discussions with myself, I call myself a doubting Thomas. Well, Thomas and I have a lot of discussions. But,
yeah.
Okay. I'm just trying to help people understand who you are and what you do, and take it on faith that what you're saying is true. Because words can be corrupted just as well as the personality, the behavior, or the spiritualness of a person.
Right. Well, I know that it's all beautiful, and God is here to help us, and God wants us to be healed, and God wants us to do the work in the highest dimension, which is the God frequency. So many of us are really happy that we're doing this work, and it's a beautiful time for us to move into the highest dimension that we can be, and that we can be healed, and that I'd be used for the most greater good. So I'm really happy to be of service to everybody. And they can reach me at thehealingtrilogy.com.
I believe that as well, that there's more to life than what is being done now, and that you need to move beyond the physical in order to grab the spiritual, and then develop within you, within everybody, this higher plane. That much, I mean, the Mayans believed that.
Yeah, we have to think out of the box and grab the miracles, and I'm so grateful to be alive, and I'm so grateful that God is using me to help so many people, and I believe that we need to live in the miracles right now, and it's just a beautiful time.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, so before we wrap this up, Kimberly, could you please again tell everybody where they can find you on the World Wide Web, how they can get in contact with you should they want to discuss this further, and tell them where they can find your book?
Yeah, if they want to make an appointment with me, I'm at thehealingtrilogy.com for any kind of medical scan, or come to our classes, just thehealingtrilogy.com. And if you want to get the book, it's free. Has lots of fun points and tips in there, essential oils, and immune boosting shake, and all the regular tips. I didn't go over them all because we know so many of them already in there. That I also have meditational CDs on my website. I'm not into selling a lot of things, but I just have a few little things on my website. But everything is at thehealingtrilogy.com.
Terrific. Well, thank you very much. And ladies and gentlemen and adults of all ages, you can hear this interview with Kimberly Meredith all over again on https://passionateworldtalkradio.com/ and on the right hand side is the menu. Scroll down, find Cool Your Heels, click on it, and you should find it. We also have what we call a sizzle line, which is a phone line for those who are technologically challenged. And you just put in the phone number that you're provided and you'll hear it immediately. You also can find it on Spreaker, iTunes, iHeart, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and you can also ask Amazon Alexa to play it for you. You give it the command, it does pretty good. It also will air on amfm247.com every Tuesday evening from 8 to 9 p.m. Google, Instagram, on a host of podcast directories. So you should be able to hear this in triplicate, as they say. And before you go away, Anne Stray Blake had this to say: in 1790, what is now proved was once only imagined. So think about that and think about what Kimberly Meredith does, and you know you're on the right path with her. Thank you all very much for listening, and remember, have a terrific day. Thank you.
Thank you.